you're working paycheck to paycheck, and I feel like there's no peace of mind when you know you can't enjoy life.
Yeah.
Like, how can you be going through life peaceful, happy, wanting to do the things, wanting to have holidays, wanting to make memories, but you don't have money?
We're here with Ezekiel, Easy Property. If you don't know him, he featured on the channel a while ago. So it's essentially a part 2, a follow-up of what we did before. So for the people that don't know you, bro, please introduce yourself. Sell away, bro. Talk to me.
So yeah, my name's Ezekiel. Instagram is _EZY Property, same as YouTube as well. Predominantly known for having a rent-to-rent business, but I've also moved into property development at the same time. So yeah, known for Airbnb, but also do property development. So yeah, this is actually one of my units. That yeah, we're gonna go around, check it out, give you some more info about this and how much money's making me, man.
So before we walk around, so explain to us, like, obviously you mentioned you do rent-to-rent. So what is rent-to-rent for the people who don't know? People that are obviously new to the channel, new to yourself, like what is it that you do in terms of rent-to-rent?
Cool. So long story short, rent to rent is essentially you're taking a property from a landlord or an agent and you're guaranteeing a rent. You're dealing with everything, whether it's like maintenance, whether it's like complaints from whoever's in the property, like tenants, and the landlord just gets their rent guaranteed, no issues. And yeah, there's no void periods for the landlord, so yeah, you're taking on all the hassle. So now you can either use a property as an Airbnb, you can give it to like social housing companies, you can use it as a HMO, house in multiple occupancy. But for me, majority of my properties are Airbnb properties. So this is an example of an Airbnb property where I've actually got contractors in this property. I've actually got 60 contractors in this whole area in my Airbnb unit. So it's consistent money, to be honest.
So can we say where we are right now?
Yeah. London Borough. Just say London Borough.
Yeah, alright, cool. So we're in London Borough. So you've got multiple properties in this area. So we're in Greenwich. Cool. Yeah. So we're in Greenwich. So you have multiple properties in this area. Why this area? Why have you chosen to come here? Because
yeah, you know what it is, yeah. Obviously, I'm from East London.
Okay.
When I first started rent to rent, I was like, let me try and take on properties in East London because I'm near East London. But I just started building relationships with one agent. My first property was like near Thamesmead. Built a relationship with him. He introduced me to one landlord. She introduced me to her brother. So just like a ripple effect, and loads of people just have properties in this area. And where I now started developing a relationship with contractors, they have a massive project going on for about 8 months. So they told me, listen, as many properties as you can give us, we will take it for 8 months straight. And that's literally what happened. It got to a point where I didn't even have enough properties. So my mentees, I helped them get a property and I put the contracts in there. So for like 4 of my mentees, I've done that for them. And literally for like 6 of my properties, the contractors are in there. So I was just literally taking up properties to give it to them. But obviously, regardless of them, these properties will be making money anyway.
Okay. So this is just 4 properties in this area. How many properties do you have?
So I think 5 in this area.
5.
Altogether it's 25. I've got 25 properties altogether.
Because when we was here, I think you only have 1 in this area.
Yeah.
You have the one big one.
Yeah.
One big property. Have you still got that one?
Yeah, I still got that one. I've got another contractor company. They're from Poland. They're in that property as well. So yeah, I can't lie, bro. It's crazy. Like they're paying about 3,700 a month. So like today
for that one property.
So 3,700 a month. Across all the properties today. I can show statements in it.
Yeah. You got receipts, yeah.
I got receipts.
You have to.
I know social media people don't believe. In fact, I'll even bring it out. But yeah, no, they're like £19,000 today from all these properties. So I think
all 5. So for all 5 you got paid 19k.
Yeah. No, so one of them is gonna pay me on the 2nd. Yeah. But for these ones, I got paid about 16. But I've got another property that someone paid. So altogether, I come up to about like 18, 19k.
So is that for the month? Is that for 6 months?
Yeah, that's for the month, for each month. So yeah, so each property I have different clientele. So whether it's contractors, whether it's insurance clients. For example, my one in Croydon, my 2-bed, I've got a company paying me 4.5k a month, and they pay me 2 months up front straight, and they're going to be there for the next 6 months. So in different properties, I've got like with different clients, or I can just literally slap on Airbnb and just wait for like families and things like that. But yeah, all these properties, they tend to get booked really quickly.
So that's 19k in as of today. Yeah. So that's not all profit, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So 25 properties, the nature of rent to rent, you must have a lot of outgoings, bro.
100%, man. I'll probably say rent and bills, probably easy like 50k.
50k
a month.
So you have 50k every month leaving your account.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether you got money or not.
Bro, regardless, bro. Only sometimes I don't even know how I do it, man. But yeah. Bro, every month, bro. Sometimes I'm thinking like, wait, how am I gonna get part of this month? But bro, literally for the past 3-4 years, bro, it's been going up and it's still calm, like no issues. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it wasn't difficult. They're having some difficulties.
You're making it sound too good.
Yeah,
bro.
I know.
You're making it sound like just rock up, knock on the door. You know yo, let me rent your property to these Polish brothers. You know they got a project around the corner for 6 months. You know, making it sound too easy.
I think because I'm so used to problems, I think the way I look at things is different. Obviously, when I was working at primary school, and I remember taking on a property, it was a 7-bed HMO.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, like the problems for this one is too difficult, man. Like the stress from the tenants, like it was just a mad. Cool. And then I was like, bro, like this is too much. But I think after a while, like when you're in business for a while, like you have to get used to problems. Bro, like if you're not getting used to problems and you're panicking at each stage, bro, you're never gonna scale. So I think for me, even though I guarantee like £50,000 a month, I think of every single like past 3-4 years, bro. I've been able to pay each landlord. There's been no issues where landlords haven't been paid. Yeah. You know, whether I have to take from my savings or whatever, like it's always been covered. But I think now my business is at a stage whereby it's cash flowing very nicely. Yeah. I think for the first 2 years where I was scaling aggressively, the money that was coming into my business, I was putting it straight back out. So that's why there was a lot of times when it was like a lot of struggles in terms of like on the bread line, the borderline of can I pay the landlord or not. But obviously now where all my total investment, like for example, this one was like 6.5k. Okay. So I've already made that return anyway. Yeah. All of them I've made all that return. So yeah, so now it's doing pretty well, man.
Okay, so it's fair to say that problems come with the territory of being in business, as you said. So I would say you're a successful young man at this point in time. I would say you're making money, like life's going well. So how do you feel you deal with problems now in comparison when you started? And do you think that now you're kind of in a place where, like you said, the bills are paid, money's coming in, you could say things are quote unquote sweet right now. How do you deal with success? Because I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we prepare for problems because they're so frequent, but then potentially in times of when we're doing well, we don't know how to deal with it. And we start looking for even more problems, which might be causing you to scale your business now. Because you said to me you was happy at 10, then you was happy at 15, then I didn't hear from you for a bit, and now you got 25.
Yeah, you know what?
When's it gonna stop, bro? Leave some for us, bro.
Bro, you know what it is, yeah? It's even from property number 3 to property number 25. Like, I kid you not, I haven't looked for them. Okay. Like genuinely, because I've built relationships, like these opportunities that just come up, and I think where I know how a property is gonna perform, I'm just like, it's kind of stupid not to, because really and truly, you put your money in the bank, the money's not gonna grow. Fair. Like I was thinking to myself the other day, like why am I still doing that? Like if I give some properties away, I have less outgoings, but then I'm like, bro, they're bringing in cash flow. I know how much these are making. So obviously there's a level of risks to everything. So obviously I've calculated that risk, and I remember I think Gable asked that question like, when is enough enough? And to be honest, I don't know. However, for me, it's more about peace than anything. Like, I don't really care to go to 50 or 100 properties. For me, it's more about peace, and that's why I'm really diversifying. That's why I'm going into developments as well. So it's just mixing and matching, to be honest, man. Okay. So you mentioned about in regards to you not missed payments, right? You've not missed payments. All the landlords that you work with have been paid. You've got good relationships, long-standing relationships as well. So why do you think rent to rent has a bad reputation? Why is it? I don't want to say the least glamorized, because it's everywhere at the moment. Like a lot of people are selling courses and whatnot. But why does it have a bad reputation? Why is it when you ring up a landlord, you say rent to rent, and they say, oh, yeah, what is that? You know what it is? Yeah, I feel like a lot of people rent to rent has become very, very common, and I feel like there's a lot of people doing rent to rent very poorly. So I know of many people who've taken on rent to rent deals, and when they're struggling to get clients in or get guests in, they don't pay the landlord. Okay. And there's a lot of people doing that. The moment you do that, you're gonna give the rent to rent a bad name, because the landlord's thinking, why am I gonna give it to a company where they can just up and leave? So because a lot of people are not doing rent to rent properly, they're now giving rent to rent a bad name. You know, and I feel like a lot of people don't actually do their due diligence. Like before you go into any strategy, there's gonna be highs and lows. You need to calculate that. Like one thing I will never do is tell anyone that, cool, you jump into rent to rent, you're gonna easily be making £1,000 a month profit. Like, don't get me wrong, there's some properties where you can, but there's also some properties where you won't make that. You know, there's some properties, like my studios, for example, when there's a super low period, it might just about break even. But again, when you obviously measure across the whole year, it's obviously making profit. But I feel like there are some people, their mindset is just not built for that. You know, for some people, the moment they're struggling and they're not getting bookings, they're panicking, and they're like, I want to give the property back to the landlord. You know, and I feel like at that moment, that's when the real entrepreneurs are made. But unfortunately, a lot of people are not cut out for that. And that's why, when that happens, bro, people start crumbling. That's why rent to rent has a bad name. And also, sorry, another thing is a lot of people, there's a lot of misconception about rent to rent. For example, you know, you put 5k into the property, it's going to take you X amount, 10 months to make the property back, and then that's when you have to scale after 5 things. But again, that's because a lot of people are doing rent to rent incorrectly. A lot of people are just relying on Airbnb, Booker.com. When you become creative, you can start getting opportunities like this, where somebody's paying 4.5k for a 2-bed. That's over 2,500 profit. So yeah, man, that's the answer there, man. So okay, cool. So again, guys, staying on the topic of
problems are commonplace in business, right? So you mentioned that you want a peaceful life. So why are you an entrepreneur? Because an entrepreneur's life isn't peaceful. You could have stayed a teacher,
That's a
bro.
good question.
You could have stayed a teacher. You could have collected your
bro,
salary.
I couldn't.
No, there's contradictions here, bro.
I couldn't, bro.
Explain yourself, sir.
I couldn't, bro, because, bro, think about it. When I was working in a primary school,
Yep.
I was making probably like 24k. Like, I had no life, bro. Like, because the thing is, like, you're working paycheck to paycheck, and I feel like there's no peace of mind when you know you can't enjoy life.
Yeah.
Like, how can you be going through life peaceful, happy, wanting to do the things, wanting to have holidays, wanting to make memories, but you don't have money? And the things, unfortunately, a lot of people are going through that. So for me, it was impossible for me to stay in that environment. For me, the only way out was becoming an entrepreneur and actually putting my life in my hands, where I have the control, where I can control how much money I make. You know, but when I was working at primary school, I can't now make 5k more a month.
Yeah.
When I was working at primary, as I said, 23k a month. Today alone, in the past 24 hours, I've made 19k. I made 19k in one day. When I was working at primary school, I was making 23k a year.
Yeah.
By being an entrepreneur, of course, there's more stress that comes with it, but at the end of the day, nothing is easy, man. But for me, this is the life that I'm happy to take because I know the rewards are greater.
So in your we'll say your previous life, in your previous job, you said there was no peace for you there. So regardless of whether you stayed, regardless of whether they put you on 30k, 35k, there's no peace for you there.
There's no peace, bro. There's no peace. And the thing is, the reason why I know there's no peace is because I'm waking up early, 9 hours, whatever, being told this, do that, do this, do that. And even if they bumped it up by an extra 10k, they're not going to bump it up another extra 10k. But my business, when I went from, for example, 1 year where I increased 10 properties in 10 months, bro, how much I earned increased like crazy. And by me doing that, put myself out there, more opportunities open up. That would never have happened if I just stayed working at primary school. And the things that I think when you look at a lot of people who are working 9 to 5 jobs and you actually ask them, are they happy? They're not.
Yeah.
And for me, I had to get out before it was too late. A lot of people, it's too late before they get out. They have mortgages, they have kids and stuff like that. Before you know it, they're trapped and they're too scared to get out. So for me, where you're young, I feel like, listen, this is the time to take the risk, man. Where you got no kids, where you got like no crazy liabilities or whatever, like take the risk whilst you can, man.
So looking at your broader life then, so you said your life changed when you started to obviously make more money and things for the better, right? So what other areas of your life changed when you started to make money? Because obviously you're a man, you're on the right side of 30 at the moment. So you've got a lot more freedom now. You've got freedom to go on holiday when you want. Obviously you're getting married. Can we put it out there? You're getting married, which is nice. Congratulations, sir. Do you feel like you've got a lot more options in terms of you get to choose everything? Do you feel like your life's better? Do you feel like when you had less money, you were subjected to a lower quality of life?
Bro, 100%, man. Okay. I feel like making more money, man, it doesn't just change you, it changes everything around you, man. Like, my relationship is better. Not necessarily saying that if I didn't have money, like, she won't love me, but you can do things that would enhance your relationship. For example, like we're going Bora Bora, or where we want to go another holiday here. I think I've traveled like 6 countries like this in
I know, I've
6 months.
been seeing, yeah, where are you? Oh yeah, I'm in this place, with this place, yeah.
So yeah, honestly, man, and I think it's that peace, man, that peace of mind, knowing that if you need to pay for that, like for example, like the wedding, bro, that thing was expensive, man. Yeah. But I can pay for it. Like I can pay for it with no issues, and I can pay for it knowing that more money is still coming in. Yeah. So that's a different level of peace, man. So yeah, for me, I feel like making money really gives you, and I feel like as a man as well, like you have that like sense of, I don't know if it's aura or something about yourself. Like
you feel like the guy.
You feel like the guy. But when you know that you can provide, when you know that you can do this, when you know you can do that, when you know you can fly your parents out and stuff like that, bro, you feel different, bro. You behave different, you act different, your mind is different, man. So for me, bro, making more money is, bro, it changes a lot, man. I can't lie to you.
So again, on the topic of peace now, the way you make it sound as if you'll never be at peace, like true, because you're always either running away from something or progressing something. So you're running away from your job as a teacher, and you're trying to, obviously, you've got a life now where I would say you're fairly happy. You can say you've got good things going on and whatnot, but it's not enough. There's no end point. So it seems like you're always gonna be,
you know what it is,
on the wheel.
On that question of, for me, it comes down to purpose.
Okay.
And I feel like what I'm doing now is my vehicle to purpose.
Yes.
Like, the more money I have, again, I know the bigger purpose of my life, and it's more than money, to be honest. Yeah. You know, I believe every single person's been put on this earth to really give back and help others. Okay. But for me, I clocked from an early age, you can't help others if you first can't help yourself. So for me, the phase I'm in my life right now is really helping myself. And it's trickling into my fiance, my family as well, but there's more. And for me, the reason why I'm not stopping where I'm at, and it's not to say that I'm not content and I'm not happy, but I know that there's more out there.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like the moment people stop and say that's it, they become complacent. For me, I can't be complacent because I know there's still more to achieve. You know, why stop at buying 1 property when you have the capability to buy 10?
Yeah.
Why stop at 1 rent to rent when you have the capability to do 10 rent to rents?
Yeah.
You know, for me, there's more. And for me, it's all about maximizing my ability and maximizing everything around me.
Okay.
So yeah, I wouldn't say it's not about being content. I'll say that it's about maximizing every single opportunity. And as I said, from property number 3 to property number 25, I didn't look for any of those properties. I didn't go out there saying, cool, I need to try and find landlord. They came to me. So for me, it's more of that thing. But I think the biggest thing I would always say is that you really have to have gratitude, man. And for me, every single day, bro, I have gratitude. I'm grateful for everything, bro. Even the fact that I have this property and it's making me X amount, the contractor's X amount. So, and I think when you have ambition and you have gratitude, I think those are the right balance to have, man.
So, how long have you been on this journey for? Because obviously we did a video not that long ago, and you've come a long way since then.
20 years,
But I would probably hazard a guess to say your journey from like 10 properties to 25 was a lot quicker than 0 to 1, 0 to 3. But then again, you did scale quite quickly. So what can you give some insight into how long this actually took to get from 0 to 1? Because that's the most important one. That started your journey, right?
Yeah.
And then from your first one to where we are now.
So started property 2019, and I took on my first property 2021. So it was actually 18 months before I made my first money in property. Okay. So I spent a lot of time obviously networking, surrounding myself with other people, trying to learn how to source deals. Didn't make any money from that, and obviously got to the point where I was like, you know what, like I was on the verge of giving up. And unfortunately surrounded myself with a guy who was obviously doing well, rent to rent. And then, we become friends, and he kind of like showed me the ropes. So it took me 18 months before I got my first property. From that one, it took me from 1 to 10, it probably took me about 12 months from 1 to 10. And then I really wanted to slow down, but the next 2 years I went from 10 to 25, but at the same time done property developments as well, where probably by the time this comes out we would have bought another property.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's another HMO development that we're buying, so I think by the time it comes out.
Did you finish on the one in Huddersfield?
So that was complete. There's 5.
Complete.
That's fully done. There's 5 tenants in there. So 1 room that's left. So new property that we're buying, and potentially another one in a month's time. Okay. So that's 3 HMO properties that we're buying ourselves. We've done 2 for investors that we partner with investors, and I'm also buying 1 personally, residential. Okay. So obviously a lot has happened in that space, which is why, and again, as I said, I didn't really care to scale past even 20 rent to rents. So but a lot has been happening around that, man.
Okay. So how long did it take you to surpass your salary? Because obviously you're using 24k. I think we spoke in the past in regards to Airbnbs, and you said like the profit for the most part around 1k profit, all things considered, right? So would it be fair to say you passed your salary at 3 properties? Yeah,
I think 100% I passed my salary at 3 properties. But as I think I said in another video, for me, I waited till 10 properties because I was like, you know what, I knew I wanted to scale aggressively. So I thought to myself, you know what, like go crazy this year. Try and stay in your job as long as possible, and then at that time, that's when you can leave your job, and that's what.
So would you advise that then? Because I know there's people sat at home, they watch the video and they're like, nah, fuck this job, man. Been in Sainsbury's for bare long. I don't want to be here. Keeps calling me a dickhead. I'm gone. They want to just, they're like, I got my 10 bags. I'm gonna go and rent to rent. I'm gonna throw my money at property. I'm gonna make a bag a month. That's it. I'm cool. Would you advise that?
I 100% would, man. And to be honest, bro, I hear that a lot, bro. I hear a lot of people, they don't like their job, so they just want to up and leave and go into life as an entrepreneur. But honestly, man, I even speak to my guys about that. It needs to make sense, man. Like your 9 to, just because you're on a 9 to 5 doesn't mean you're going to be there forever, bro. But use that 9 to 5 as a vehicle to help propel your business, man. Like for example, there's so many people that they want to start entrepreneur journey, but you're not going to start it now and then it's going to blow tomorrow. Like it's a slow and steady process. There's so many losses that you're going to take. So I think for those who are working 9 to 5s, honestly, I would say utilize that 9 to 5 as much as you can until you can't do no more. When I knew it was time to leave is when I literally couldn't do no more. Like I was physically in a primary school, the kids were talking to me, like I was mentally not there. I was thinking of this job that I need to do. I was thinking, okay, cool, this washing machine is going to be delivered at 5 p.m. The kid is screaming, oh, Mr. Izzy, Mr. Bro, I'm telling you, my mind wasn't there. But at that time, I was like, you know what? I can't do this no more. Like enough times I'll sneak into the toilets to answer messages on my phone. The teachers are like, oh, you know, he's got his business. So for me, I was like, it was too much. A lot of people are not even at that stage yet. They just don't like their co-worker and they want to leave. So for me, honestly, I'll say make as much money as you can before you go into business full time.
Yeah, facts. I think a lot of people don't realize that once you work for yourself, you work for yourself.
Bro.
So if you don't get up, there's no money coming in, there's no holiday pay, there's no annual leave. So you really have to support yourself. So I think it's out the frying pan into the fire. Like you're into oftentimes like a worse situation before you kind of build up. But the thing is with that, if you work for yourself, you're the guy, bro. You're the guy. I ain't got a job. No one tells me when to get up. If I want to make 5 bills this month, I'm making 5 bills. If I want to make no money, but how did that impact you in your decision? How does perception impact your decision making? Because it's fair to say you're making a bit of money. We could do Lamborghini Urus on holiday in various places. We could do private jet, Biggin Hill. We could do that. It'll be a cost.
Yeah.
Why aren't you living that life, bro? Why have you decided to be? Look, you got a barcode on your back. This could be LV.
No, you're right. You know what it is, yeah. I think there's a time and a place, and I think everyone has their vices. And for me, I've never really been someone to just care about being like mad flashy. To be honest, for me, obviously, holidays are my vices. Like I like spending on holidays and like enjoying the holidays. So for me, everything just has to make sense. Okay. Like whether it's buying a house or whatever.
What does make sense mean? Because you use that time a lot to rationalize your decision making. So
when I say it has to make sense, I think of okay, cool. How much does this cost, and how much you have going in? For example, if I could say, cool, this rent is bringing me on average about £500 a month. Okay, cool. This new car that I want to get is £500 a month, so it can kind of balance itself out. Okay. But if this new car is like £1,500 a month, and then my rents on average I'm making £600-700 a month, for example, then I'm putting myself a bit of a risk, because if this doesn't go well, then that's now the liability is now excessive. Yes. So for me, when I say it makes sense, I look at it on a financial basis. Cool, how much is this expense, and how does it correlate to what I have coming in? So that's what I mean when I say it makes sense.
So would you say your environment, like the people you're around, I think they're quite similar to yourself in a sense, where the guys that you're around that do have money, they're not doing Lamborghini but bottle popping for the most part, or would you say it's otherwise?
You know what it is, yeah. I find I say my closest circle are not like that. Right. Yeah. However, I do find myself being surrounded by other people. The more I'm growing in different areas of business, my environment is obviously changing. However, still, even those people, they're not crazy like flashy. They make money, but they don't need to flaunt that they have money. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So I think my circle is they make money, but it's more of they're humble and they make money.
So do you get FOMO then? So when you see these guys, they're popping bottles, they're in the club, chains on, they're living the life, right? The life that every guy seems to want, right? Do you get FOMO in the sense of, I want to be that guy. I know I'm engaged, but let's just park that to the side. I know I've got a nice car, but let's get a better one. Like, do you feel these urges, or are you very?
No, to be honest, bro, I'm not, man. And I think it all comes down to perspective, bro. Okay. Because I think when you look at life, like you think to yourself, okay, cool. What is the meaning of my life? Yes, cool. I want to make money, but that spending money, and that's the thing a lot of people think. They think when I get this money, when I make X amount, when I make 10k a month, oh, my life is going to be amazing. I'm going to be so happy. But really and truly, making that money doesn't give you the fulfillment that you think it does. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And I think it's only until people make money do they realize that money in itself it isn't it, but it's the experiences, the people around you. So for me making money, bro, I want my boys around me to make money. I want my family to be good. I want my missus to be good. Those are the things that mean most to me. So to be honest, people popping bottles in a club, I couldn't care less, to be honest, man. But for me, it's about those around me. Are they good? You know, those are the things that affect me more than anything. I want my family to be good, my brother to be good. I want his fiance to be good. When he has a kid, I want that kid to be good. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So those are the things that mean most to me, man.
So you're very purpose driven. Okay, that makes sense. So we'll look around this property. Obviously, we've got 3 more to visit today, and then we're gonna go through some numbers.
Cool.
Sounds good?
That's calm. That's calm.